Hi, and welcome to Turra Company, the mother-daughter podcast about everything. Our mission is to make herstory, aka history, not by going viral, but by doing something that has never been done before in our family. Whether we have 2 listeners or 2 million listeners, we are bringing you our very best, and hopefully we are learning and growing together in the process. Now let's enter into the Turra Company experience and create herstory, aka history, together. Welcome to Turra Company.
I know you missed me and Ariel. It's okay. We back.
Well, they've heard one episode with you guys. Don't take it personal. Launched last week.
Oh, okay.
So you're back on the scene officially as of last week.
Okay,
but
I just had to make sure.
But
They went
people
3
do
weeks
miss
without
you.
us. Yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah,
It was like what? Almost a month.
3 weeks.
Literally almost a month.
No, 4 weeks is a month.
3 weeks is almost a month.
Oh my God, we're not gonna argue about this.
I'm just saying.
Settle down. This is ridiculous. Y'all is getting so sidetracked. Anyway, welcome company. Welcome. Turra Company is back with the original host. Now, let me just say this. Neil got bit by the mic bug, and he asked me when we were going to record again. So he also asked me, did we get any questions? Because we asked in that last episode of Love and Marriage if you guys had any questions that you wanted us to answer, to write us, DM us, let us know. And we didn't get any questions. So Neil asked me about the questions, and I said, hey, we didn't get any. And he said, you should have lied and just asked me some questions. This is what I'm living with.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
First of all, I don't just be making up lies. I'm not going to hell on some stupid stuff. Like, I'm not going to hell, but if I was, it would be some big stuff. I don't do big. I don't do little. I go big. Okay, anyway, let's get started. What's today's show about, y'all?
Well, if it isn't my consequences to my own actions.
Where's that from?
It's a TikTok sound.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's what we're talking about today. Consequences to your actions, because we feel like people need a reminder.
Yes.
Because people out here wilding, thinking that they can just say and do
like
whatever
coyote.
they want, and then no consequences. But guess what? There will be consequences. Hey, I got one update from last week's show.
Oh,
So
wow.
in last week's show, Don't Take It Personal, there was a song. I said, do you guys know that song, Don't Take It Personal? And you said, so you named some song
Kehlani.
Yes. And then
I named a Monica song.
yeah, wrong. That's not what I was thinking of. So I was thinking of, and you guys probably know, Jermaine Jackson, Don't Take It Personal. I don't know when it came out.
I want us to put a poll on our Instagram story to see who knows who, when you hear Don't Take It Personal, which one you think of first. I'm willing to bet you
'Cause I don't know.
good money. A lot of people would have thought of me and Chelsi.
It just depends on your generation.
Yeah.
It depends on the generation, because if you're in my generation, you might have thought, 'cause even when I sung it, don't take it personal. So look at me. I was trying to get my little vibrato in there.
All right.
Anyway, when you hear that, you think of Jermaine Jackson. I just didn't know who did it. Remember, I said Smokey Robinson. I
You
was
sure
crazy.
did.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. Anyway, back to the show. So consequences to your actions. So you guys, you out here living, talking, doing stuff, acting like there's no consequences to your actions. And so we wanted to bring this show forward so we can just talk about it a little bit, and you can check yourself before you wreck yourself if you are one of these folks.
Or if you see people that don't realize that there are consequences to their actions, you can at least relate to these.
So this is the question. Do y'all think people are out here just doing things and not knowing that there's consequences, or just don't care?
I think people don't care.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because that was what my angle was going to be. Because
That's what your angle is?
because as we've kind of touched on in the show before, I was that kid that was just always in
Good
trouble.
God Almighty. So yeah, so knowing that you were that person that did whatever, you were so wild.
Yeah.
When you were doing wild stuff and you knew it was wrong, what were you thinking? Were you like,
In that moment, feeling that I was going to get for whatever I was doing outweighed the consequences.
Dang. You didn't have no middle.
So it was like, okay, I want to do this, and I know I probably shouldn't do this, but the way it's going to make me feel or what it's going to do for me once I do it.
You didn't think of did the consequence of like, oh, I know I'm going to get a spanking, or I know I'm going to get hollered at, or I know I'm going to get a punishment. Did that ever cross your mind when
but I was like, future me will deal with that. It'll be okay. It's okay. We gonna get through it together.
So you was like, I'll take whatever comes.
Sometimes what I thought it was because some of the things I thought I was doing, I wholeheartedly thought, well, maybe there's a chance I won't get caught, and then I really don't have to deal with the consequences because there will be none because I won't get caught doing what I'm doing. So,
but yeah, I'm gonna say if I had a meter, and you're gonna be the gauge of this because you know. I'm going to say 90% of the time you got caught.
Oh, yeah.
It may not have been like that same day.
Right.
But I always sniffed it out.
Yeah.
Because I am Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
I wills. Like, it's sometimes I could just sit up. Y'all don't even know this. Sometimes I sit up in my bed and I'll be like, something ain't right. Something.
And I got to a point that's kind of why, like, I think that's what kind of got me to calm down. Because sometimes I was like, she gonna sense it. Like her spider senses gonna be tingling. And I was like, and she gonna sense that I'm doing this. But then sometimes I was like, well, I'm still just
and that's why it's futile for anybody around me to try to get away with anything, because I have, you call it spidey sense, but it's really discernment that will sit me up in the bed at 12 midnight and I'll be like, somebody into something that they ain't supposed to be into. Mm-hmm. So your daddy, he ain't here to defend himself. We're going to get him all, we're going to do all four. Somebody said they wanted us to do a show. Somebody, let me name the person. Our dental hygienist, which is family, her name is Christine. I went and got my teeth cleaned recently, and she said she wants a show with all four of us. So we're going to have to get Neil in here with all of y'all. It's interesting. Recording with Daddy is so, like, this is so easy. With you guys, it's so easy. You talk, Chelsi talk, Ariel talk. Neil, he like, yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
No.
Maybe.
No maybes. It was no maybes. It was all like, and I had to keep saying, Neil, do you agree? Yes. And I'm like, it just felt like he wasn't engaged. Yeah. But
he wasn't elaborating.
I'm sure he was engaged. That's just Neil. But anyway, back to the show. So Christine wants to see us, and we'll work on that. We got plenty of episodes this year, so don't worry. But yeah, consequence to the action. So we just heard, that is interesting to me that you at the moment were like, bump the consequences. And I think that's important to call out, because I think a lot of people are out there like that.
You know that saying, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. That was my life motto.
But you got to take that in the right context.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Like, you can't say, I just killed somebody, and then...
That's extreme.
Well, you can't say I just killed somebody, but you know what? I'm going to deal with asking for permission later. What?
Well, that's something you wouldn't ask. Who asked permission?
But I'm just saying, when people, just like how you say, control your controllables, and some people hear that and think they can control other people. Mm-hmm. I feel like some people hear that saying that Chelsi just said about,
it's better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission.
I feel like people hear that and they think, well, I can do whatever I want, and then I'll deal with the consequences later.
I feel like that really only applies if what you're doing doesn't affect other people directly.
Yes. Like, if it's only you.
If it's just you. Like, if you do a thing and someone would have looked at it and been like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? But it doesn't really affect them.
Right.
Sure.
They're in your business.
Right. They're in your business.
But that show is coming up, In Your Business Part 2, because people won't stop being in the business. So we gotta keep doing it. So anyway.
But yeah, no, I wholeheartedly believe that I feel like a lot of these popular sayings that we know and are tried and true, you got to take them with a grain of salt, because like,
Well, you got to know the right context to them too.
Well,
right?
that too. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. There are a lot of people.
You got a twisted up brain. You hear that and you twist it around. That's the thing. People are twisted these days. Like, I say this all the time. We're going to do a show about it. Where's the wisdom? I have not ran into somebody wise in a long time. And maybe I just need to broaden my horizons with my circle, and I'm not saying that my circle isn't wise. Do not get me wrong. What I'm saying is back in the day, I used to have people around me that they just would say stuff and I'd be like, God, the light bulb would go off and I would be like, oh my God, you just changed my life. Because they thought, like, everybody's so on their phones now, nobody's deep thinking. Would you guys agree with that?
I don't think that. And let me tell you why. Because here's what I've seen. I don't think the problem is necessarily that people have been on their phones. I think the problem is that since people are, because I do think the problem is kind of that people are on their phones, but I do think people are running into circles that are echo chambers. So, like, you can say a stupid idea, and if you find 5 people that have that same stupid idea, they'll be like, oh my gosh, that is the smartest thing I've ever heard. But at the same time, you're saying, like, something.
But it's not wisdom, though.
I know, but they confuse it as wisdom.
Right, and I get that, but what I'm saying is, and we're saying similar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying we're saying the same thing because we're not. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is back in the day, you didn't have your phone. You had books, and you still have books, but not a lot of people picking up them books. I say this all the time. Not a lot of people. Ariel reads. I read. Chelsi,
I don't read. Not a reader,
and she's unapologetic.
Yeah, I don't read.
Yeah, she doesn't. So anyway, there's a lot of people out here. You read your phone, like you get your news from your phone, right?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is when you pump your brain or fill your brain with
literature,
mm-hmm. As opposed to little blurbs here and there,
mm-hmm.
I think it gives you a sense. It makes you reflect
mm-hmm.
and think, and you go deeper. And I just think people are not going deeper. You'll see a meme that might be deep on social media, but then that's as far as you take it. You yourself are not thinking deeper into life. And I think that I'm saying all of that to say, I think that could be why we feel we're running into so many people that don't accept the consequences to the action mentality.
I think that's part of it. I do think that I genuinely think the bigger part of it, and it's just kind of what I've noticed, is I think there's a more noticeable sense of entitlement.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I've been, and I do spend a fair amount of time on my phone, and I do spend a fair amount of time watching people and how they interact. Mm-hmm. And I have noticed that there's kind of this, like, I want to say wave of people that are just like, they only care about their own feelings under the facade of, I don't care what anyone thinks of me.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what people think. I'm gonna do because
I'm still gonna under the cloak of I'm doing me.
Right. Again, another twisted saying. Another saying that people are twisting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like,
or they're saying like they're saying like this is who I am.
Right.
But it'd be some of the most messed up
like we don't need the messed up, traumatized, emotionally inept people of the world saying this is just me. We need those people to go pay for the professionals.
Go to the pay.
This is so serious. Like we need those people who have those issues to stop saying this is me. Because guess what? When you keep losing jobs because that's you. When you keep losing friends because that's you. Mm-hmm. When you keep losing spouses or things that are close to you because that's you, something is wrong with you.
You're the problem.
Right. And it might even be like you're hanging around in the wrong circles and that's fine. But even still, like, here's my thing. And here's what I thought about. And it's one of those sayings. I personally don't like the saying of, oh, I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. I hate it. I hate that phrase.
Right. Because you don't know what everybody else is thinking. You're
Right.
saying what you want to say, stick to it. Like, I don't never say that because you know what? I say what I felt.
Right. And
I don't care if anybody else was thinking it.
Right. Because other people, they'll be like, well, everyone else was thinking it. No, you don't know that.
That's a cowardice way out. I hate these cowards escapes. That's one of them.
Because you're trying to distribute the responsibility of the messed up thing that you just said.
Exactly.
Because it's never anybody saying anything nice
That
after
is
they
correct.
say that sentence. It's never someone saying like, "Oh my gosh, you really deserve that promotion," or "Oh my gosh, I'm happy you went on that vacation." I'm just saying what everyone in the room is thinking. No, it's always when somebody says something so
jacked up,
just messed up and just rude, where everyone is looking at you like, what are you talking about?
right? Like, why did you just say that?
Right.
Yeah.
Because even if other people were thinking it, they didn't say it for a reason because they have couth.
Yeah. Handle your trauma, people. That's the thing. I'm noticing that too. There's so much trauma in the world. And listen, trauma ain't new. Mm-hmm. Trauma was when I was coming up. Trauma was when my mama was coming up. Trauma has been around for a long time. Like, let me tell you about this. Like this little thing that I've run into lately. The Great American Blow Up. Where you just think you got the right to blow up because something didn't go your way. Sorry. Newsflash. It is called a temper tantrum.
You're just old.
Just
You're
old.
just
Having it looking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
A 55-year-old person having a fit because somebody didn't work in their timeline or give them what they thought they should have when they thought they should have it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to back up, person. And look, we is having a preachy show today.
A little bit.
Well, but it's true because we keep running into this. So somebody needs to hear something so that they can check themselves. Because sometimes people are just out here doing it and they think, like you just said a little bit, everybody's doing this, so I can do it too. No, everybody's not blowing up. If you are having a stressful time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If things aren't going your way when you want them to go your way, you need to find a calmer resolve, a way to deal with that. There's a temper tantrum isn't cute on a 2-year-old at Target in the middle of the floor. And it's really not cute on a big grown up.
Because at least on a 2-year-old, you know that they just don't know how to handle their emotions. If you're 60 years old and still don't know how to manage your emotions, you need to see a paid professional.
You're about to take that to the grave? Like you're just
like
about
you
to
just never want to learn how to access your emotions and work through that.
Like in a healthy, positive way at all. Cool. Got it.
Because nobody will want to deal with you. That is the consequence to that action.
Mm-hmm.
You keep having temper tantrums. Who's going to want to deal with you? Because guess what? I love myself too much. You go off on me, you got one time to blow up on me. And the second time you blow up on me, I'm going to blow back. And you're not going to like it when I blow back because I'm not one of those people that just let people blow up on them. I never understood those people. I have seen people where somebody will blow up on them and they'll just sit there and listen and absorb all of that tantrum and all of that trauma into their spirit. Why are you doing that? If a person is blowing up on you and it really ain't got nothing to do with you, because people will be like, well, I'm stressed at work.
I don't like that excuse
I'm stressed at work. I mean, so much is happening. It's a lot going on in my life. Guess what? Life is happening to all of us. Learn how to process that. And another thing, because things just keep popping in my head. Stop taking it out on the people that don't deserve it.
Right. Because just because everyone goes through things, it doesn't diminish, your feelings. It doesn't diminish the things that are going on to you.
Yeah.
But it gives you that context of, I wouldn't like if somebody did this to me. I shouldn't.
Right.
Whatever happened to the golden rule of life?
What is that?
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. That's
People
biblical.
stopped caring about how other people felt.
Yeah. That's biblical.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
It's treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated. I have to look it up. I hate to just be spouting stuff off the top. I didn't bring my BIBLE in here. I'm going to start bringing it.
That makes sense. But
and you've been going to Bible study, so maybe y'all will brush up on it. But I can't, I'm not one of those Matthew 6 and verse 7 and 8. I'm not one of those kind of people, but I can remember stuff that's in there.
Like there's like a story that relates to that.
Like that might be one of the commandments.
Love thy neighbor.
Though as you love yourself, love thy neighbor as you love. Treat your neighbor, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
I believe so.
Look at Chelsi trying to get the BIBLE in the brain. We'll bring it. We'll get it.
Listen,
I didn't bring my phone.
Not the children.
With the pictures. That was your favorite one?
My first Bible.
I know. You guys had that Bible for a long time. But those are good Bibles because some people need to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But yeah, treat others the way you would want to be treated. And if you're around somebody that's not treating you the way you want to be treated, set that boundary and go away. And
set
walk
that
away.
boundary and be like, listen, if you keep crossing it, if you can't control yourself, if you keep blowing up on me because of this, that, and the third, it ain't for us. That ain't where we're supposed to be. I have now fun fact, but let me just spill the beans on me. I had to learn that because I wasn't always that way. Because I'm a blower upper. I don't know if anybody knows this. I am like a little steamboat that the steam spout got stuck.
You know what I almost said when you said steamboat?
What?
Choo choo.
That's the choo choo tray. But I can be a little bit of a steamboat. Well, let me say this. I used to be, because I think I'm way better now. But I used to, like, if I had a bad day at work, and you guys probably can attest to this, I used to come home and be like,
yes,
Lord.
Clean up your room. Why isn't this blah, blah, blah? And I would go.
Hear that garage, be like, okay. I'd be downstairs. Hear that garage and be like, okay, I'm going to go up to my room.
I used to spin. Like, if I had a bad day, I used to spin. And so let me tell you what changed me. Your reactions changed me because, like you said, you scattered. Yeah. Like, I noticed you were scattering. I don't know what Ariel did to deal with it.
Because Ariel just used to hide in the shadows, you know? Like Ariel was
she probably was already in her room.
She was already in her room.
I like to be in the common. We always say her apartment.
I like to be in the common areas, and I'd be like, "Ooh, okay, yeah, let me go."
Right. And then poor daddy, because I kind of would, you guys I would let disperse, but then I would follow him and start being like, why is this and why is that and blah, blah. And it would be stuff that was always that way. Mm-hmm. But I needed to release. And what I should have done was either found a positive way within myself to release it and process it while I was at work, right? Or dealt with the thing while I was at work. Mm-hmm. But I would tug it all in, just tuck it, and bring it home. And poor you guys. Because so what I did to fix it, because let me tell you, where I am now, is I had to learn. And people will say, well, how did you learn that? Some things you start paying attention to your surroundings, and you see that the people around you are being heard by what your actions are. The people, like, nobody's benefiting from it. So nobody was benefiting from me coming home, kicking the dog that we don't have. So dog people, do not write us. We don't have a dog. We never have. But I just use that expression. Me coming home, kicking the dog, going on a Tasmanian rant, and then you guys like messing up y'all peace, because
absolutely,
because I didn't have peace where I came from. So what I learned and how I learned it is my discernment kicked in and said, okay, something's off. You can't keep coming home like this. So what I did was when I started feeling immediately at work or wherever, if I started feeling that choked up feeling, because you feel it, then I would just be like, okay, what just happened? What do we need to deal with in this moment? Right? And some things you can't deal with in the moment. Like if your boss tells you to do something that is going to take a long time, interrupt your whole day, that can cause stress, right? Because you're flexing. Some people aren't flexible like that. If that's a thing that happens, then you have to, in that moment, say to yourself, okay, I'm flexing. Or you need to acknowledge whatever that thing is that you're feeling and move with it. Because for me, it is flexing. I'm not good at flexing all the time. So for me, it's flexing. But what I learned to do is, okay, this is here. When I'm driving home, listen to something on the radio that calms me. that soothes me.
That centers you.
That centers me. That would be for me gospel, because everybody knows that's my favorite genre.
Yeah.
But I do listen to other music, but I do love gospel. But anyway, listening to that, or even sometimes I'll listen to church sermons, just whatever to center me and give me some clarity, and not come home and be like, Neil, you did this, or Chelsi, you did this. Now I feel like I'm centered, and I just say, hey, I had a bad day at work. Because that helps it too. If you can just acknowledge it and be like, today was tough, then you guys would say, what happened? And then I tell the story, and then that
it gives context.
it takes the steam out.
Right. But one of the things, it's funny that you brought that up, because there's two things that it made me think of, is a lot of times people who blow up like that, they have one of two things also happen.
Yeah.
One is that they don't know how to compartmentalize, because basically what you're also describing is recognizing that is that, and this is this.
Yes.
That is work. This is home.
Yes.
Or that is my friendship. This is my family. Like there you can separate the two, and there's a lot of like cognitive stuff that goes on with that. I feel like probably something like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've noticed is you pointed out the finding your center and kind of moving out of the anger.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, and I don't want to say like a lot, but I've come across.
It is a lot.
Okay. Well, I've come across a lot of people that are stuck in that hurt. Because the hurt gets them attention.
Yeah, that's what we talked about a couple of episodes back, where we like they love to stay telling the story, because then it keeps bringing it up and you're still in it.
Or they're just comfortable in the hurt.
Yeah,
like that.
They don't want to be happy.
Yeah, because they don't know how to handle happiness. They don't know how to handle calm environments.
Now, do you think? Because I think about this sometimes. Sometimes people have been hurt and betrayed so much that when the happiness comes, they don't trust it.
Yeah.
And they have that thing that is called dread, which is worry's cousin. And dread makes them dread or think this can't last.
And waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And that's a thing. That is a very serious thing that people... And they don't even recognize that that's what it is. And it's not even that they don't think they deserve it. They just think, this has never happened. Why should it stay?
Right.
You know, and it's a crazy thing to deal with, but you have to push through it and say, I deserve this. I'm going to, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm going to push through. And if it's good, it's good. Because guess what? Life is good and bad. And that's what I think people don't realize either. The valleys of life.
The peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys, because there's going to be the highs where you're like, oh, my bank account is full. I got what I want. And then sometimes you're going to be like, did I just get laid off? I'm not laughing at people getting laid off. Please don't think that's what we're laughing at.
How you said that.
Right. I'm laughing at how I said it.
The delivery was what?
Yeah, the delivery was comedic. But I'm just saying that is one thing that I noticed. Yeah, and the compartmentalized. It's funny that you mentioned that too, because I was always one that would say, when I first got married, there would be times where on my way to work, I would call Neil and I would get in an argument with him, because that's how toxic I used to be.
What? Yeah.
Girl, I used to be
I believe it.
Something. I would think of something on my way to work and I would call him. And mind you, he's at work, so he can't even really talk. So I'm just messed up, right? So I call him and I'll say, why did you blah, 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 or why did you ... And then he would, answer, and not the way I wanted him to answer. Yes, ma'am. Yes, wife.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, wife.
Wow.
I'll take care of it. That's what I wanted to hear. I told y'all I'm toxic. That's why I had this show, because I know there's other people out there that's toxic just like I was.
And we live in the same house as you, and we wow. I didn't realize.
Because I've changed.
Ariel,
I'm so oblivious.
Because I've changed.
No, I just need Ariel to be a little bit more.
Calling Neil on the way to work and starting arguments.
Because you live in the same house and you don't.
We always lived in the same house. This is when we were married.
You work in the same house.
Right, but I'm telling you that stopped a while ago. Stop putting me out here crazy.
Hey, I'm not putting you out here any kind of way. I'm just saying.
Anyway,
I'm talking about Ariel. She needs to be more aware of her surroundings a little bit more.
It ain't no surroundings because this don't happen no more. So this ain't, she ain't gonna see it no more. This was literally what I'm talking about is when we first got married.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all probably weren't even born.
Yeah. No, you're just,
But I used to call him and be like, blah, because I didn't know how to be married. And I just thought that that's what you were supposed to do was nag. And so I would be, he worked earlier than me and I would catch him on my way to work because we just worked different hours. And I would say, you did this, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't answer me, yes, ma'am, yes, wife, I'll take care of it, as I was saying. And so that would spin me out. But I used to always pride myself when I would get to work that I would never take that argument or that emotion into the building. That was my, I used to have a t-shirt, not really, but I thought I was going to get one that said, I don't take my personal into the business.
But you take your business to your personal.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. That's what I used to. Jesus. Okay. Everybody ain't going to keep painting me like I still do these things today because I don't. Mm-hmm. But I did used to have, I prided myself on not bringing my personal, because you would see that too. Mm-hmm. You see people doing that too, that they're coming to work and you're like, what is wrong with you? My husband cheated on me, blah, 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 and I'm just so angry. And that. Well, you need to take some time off and get your mind right. That ain't got nothing to do with us because we're not the husband.
Pack up your stuff and leave if you got to.
Do what you got to do. But I'm just saying that has nothing to do. So I prided myself on that. Like, I don't my personal stuff. But you are absolutely right. I used to sure enough take that work stuff home to Neo and you guys. So, fun fact. How did I get over it? How did I stop?
Yeah, how did you stop?
I started recognizing that it wasn't a thing that I should be doing. Remember I said, I think I said it already, that I felt like I was hurting the people in the house with it. So I was like, this can't keep going. Because I remember my mother used to, probably was learned, because my mother used to come home, baby, who turned up this heat? Why is your coat on this? It just used to be anything. And as I got older, I noticed I was doing the same thing. So it probably was a learned behavior because my mother used to come. I love my mother so much. I'm not trying to out her, but she used to come home in a little bit of a tizzy. Because we used to always be like, hurry up, get everything together. Because we used to think if the house is perfect, then she won't have nothing to say. But that wasn't the truth. I hate to out my mother, but she would still have something to go on about. And you would be like I remember I used to we had a dining room table and I used to hang my coat on the dining room table every day. Because talking about consequences to actions, right? Mm-hmm. So every day I would come home from school and I would never hang my coat in the closet. I would always hang it on this dining room chair. And that just used to put my mama in a tizzy. Mm-hmm. And she came home one day and probably was all stressed out from work. And she was like, get this coat. And then she took it and she threw it on the floor. She said, if this coat is here when I come home tomorrow, I'm going to take it out on the porch and I'm going to burn it.
That's aggressive.
She is so aggressive.
Because she is aggressive.
That's true. That's very true.
Stop talking about her when she ain't here to defend herself.
We should have her on.
But she did it.
That would be.
I know people. That's Christine said she wanted to hear her too. But it was just so funny, and I was like, dang. You know, I remember thinking for the consequence, like Chelsi, I was like, is she for real? Like, because it's cold in Michigan. I needed my coat. I only had one.
Probably snowing outside.
If she burnt that coat or got rid of that coat, I would be dead. Hypothermia, straight up. So I was like, so the way that I process consequence and action is I don't want to find out the bad consequence. Mm-hmm. So from that day forward, I hung up my coat. I wasn't like Chelsi. I wasn't trying to find out if that was true.
If you would have said that to me, I would have been like,
But then you gotta buy me a new coat.
But like, is she? I was like, is she? Like sometimes I just wanted to see what the consequence was gonna be.
What you wanted to see? Was it true?
Especially because of how many consequences I got. Sometimes I was like,
I run out at some point.
I feel like she running out of stuff to do.
Never.
So I was like, let me see how far she can go.
You could do something crazy right now, and I got a consequence for you.
Oh, I bet you do.
I know. You know I do.
Listen.
So that was funny.
you
So
know
she
what?
was going to burn the coat. And I didn't want to find out because I am like that. Like, if you give me a rule or if you give me a thing, a consequence, because that was the consequence to that action. You put this coat on that chair one more time, I'm going to take it outside and burn it. Now, the burn part was a bit much because what, you going to burn up our porch and possibly our house maybe like to do this thing? But at minimum, I knew enough about my mother when she got like that if anything, she was going to throw it in the garbage. Now that I could see her doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I got to have my coat. So I just did it. I needed to do it. It shouldn't have been the thing that I was doing anyway. I should have been, mature enough to hang my coat up in the closet. But, things happen. But anyway, what were you going to say, Ariel? I don't know.
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. So, unlike Chelsi, I don't remember getting a lot of consequences.
You didn't.
Right, because remember, you probably didn't listen. Did you guys listen to the Love and Marriage series?
No.
They never listened to the show, y'all. They're so bad. Y'all need to listen because I want to say the last episode, the one with the children, we were talking about how we disciplined you guys. And we were talking about Chelsi needing always discipline multiple times all the time. And then we talked about, so Neil said, well, I don't ever remember giving or handing out any discipline to Ariel because she, the angel that she, I said, see, but listen, you got to listen to the show because I said, but see, that's the problem with her now that she thinks she don't do nothing. I said, Ariel does her stuff. She just low key with it. Don't
She different. Her, she different. Ariel moved different than the way I move. The stuff.
Chelsi be out loud.
Yeah, my stuff is out loud.
And
You
Ariel,
gonna know.
And it's not that she's a sneaky person. It's just she does what she does, and you're just not gonna catch it.
Yeah,
because you're not looking. That's okay. There you go. I just got the epiphany. The reason why we didn't catch is because we weren't looking. You was so raggedy. We was always looking.
all eyes was on me.
Always. I just always knew something ain't up. I just knew something wasn't right because you had patterns. Because guess what? People who are raggedy, who do crazy stuff, who we're talking about, who don't think that there's consequences to their action, if you pay attention to them, they have patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So if you called me when you got home from school while I was at work and was trying to talk to me, that would be a pattern to me. I'd be like, she up to something. Because why did she just call me?
Yeah, I
She
did.
trying
You
to
know, I
find
didn't
me.
really used to try and do that with you. I used to do that with Dad.
Because he came home first.
Because or sometimes, his job is not like where he always got to be in the office. Sometimes he would come home early. So I'd be like, hey, Dad, what you doing? Having a busy day? What time you think you're going to be home tonight? I was like, I'm just trying to peg, what time I'm going to eat dinner tonight.
See what I'm saying?
Time I got to have, stuff done. I was like, what time do you think you're coming home? He'd be like, my normal time for that. I'd be like, okay, cool. Just checking in.
Right. So, but if you really pay attention to people like that, they have patterns. And so the pattern will always reveal that they about to do something raggedy. But it's just, why do you got to go through all that?
You don't.
Why just can't people just do right?
Well, sometimes they don't know right. But, hey, that's what other people are around there.
Hey, you think they don't know?
I genuinely think that a lot of people don't know.
And see, I think the other side, I think they know and don't care.
Honestly, it's probably both. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
And I don't.
A little bit but I do it, I think, a little bit too much because my thought process is if somebody does something like if they do something raggedy in my brain, I'm like, oh, they don't know how rude they're being. Let me tell them how rude they're being.
And so for me, if you do something raggedy, they did that on purpose. That's that because even if I tell you the story, I'd be like, that broad did that on purpose, and she know or he know, and they meant it. Right. And I treat you as so. Right. I treat you as though you meant it, and you ain't gonna get too many means to. Like, I'll forgive you once because even though I think you meant to do it, I will forgive you, but. You do it again, it's done because that's your character. You show me that that's your character, and I can't deal with that.
Yeah. See, my problem is this. I think that there are people who don't know And since they don't know at this point, and at the point where I meet them, I'm like, they're never going to learn. So I'm going to just leave them alone. I'm going to cut them off.
So how many times do you give them though?
None. I mean, they'll be like, I'll just be like, unless I have to be around them, I'll like, for example, if I think it's not that I don't think that they mean to. And a lot of the times I'll meet them when they're like adult. Like I've noticed this happened a lot in my adult life, is that someone will do something, like they'll do or say something that I think is rude, or they'll do the whole, well, that's what everyone's thinking thing that I hate so much. And I'm like, oh, that's what you're like. I'm going to avoid you at all costs.
Right. And I think we were at the point where you said you're going to avoid them at all costs. But how many chances do you give them to know that that's their character?
The first time, usually the first time somebody does.
So you
something,
give them the benefit of the doubt and you still cut them?
Yeah.
That's an interesting combination.
Because you know what it is for me. I've just over time, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people either don't change because they don't know how, or they don't want to, and I don't want to be the person that teaches them how.
Yeah, and that's not your job.
Right, and it's because it's not my job. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'd rather cut it at that. I'd rather cut it at giving them the benefit of the doubt, and then let them happen again, and then I have bad feelings, and I don't have time for that. I don't have the emotional capability of doing that. So I'll just like, this is a good point for this to end.
But if you really think about it, if you search your brain, they were probably people that you didn't care for anyway.
Right, exactly.
Because if you cared about them, or if they were somebody that you cared to keep going with, and you gave them the benefit of the doubt, you would work with them.
Right. Yeah.
But if there's somebody that I don't give a hoot about,
right.
Because we discussed this before. I'm a cutter. I will cut you, but I'll come back. So this is the thing. I'll take a break. It depends. I'll take a break and I'll come back. But some people are too toxic. Some people, I just, you cut off for the long haul. I apologize.
I try not to.
I love you. I wish you well.
Yeah.
But I just cannot continue that. So, Chelsi, what you got? You got anything else before we close out this show? About your,
no,
you said a lot because your consequences. You was the consequence to the action.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
I'm my own downfall.
It's like you are a very good testimony because you were you were bad. You were bad.
Know it too.
Yeah, Chelsi was. Y'all don't know what y'all looking at today.
I'm a reformed woman.
She is reformed because Chelsi took me and my husband Neil through.
Yeah.
I
was like, oh, that first one didn't give you a run for your money. I will.
Right. That's why we didn't have any more because we knew.
That's what Dad told me one day. I don't know how this came up, but we were in the car and he was taking me to work, and I was like, I asked him something about me and Chelsi's childhood. And I was like, would you have wanted Chelsi I think I said something like, would you have wanted Chelsi to be the older sibling or like the older child? He's like, if Chelsi would have come first, there probably wouldn't have been no.
We would not.
No.
Because you were a lot of work. Ariel was not a lot of work. So it made me think, if I have one that's not a lot of work, I'm going to have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was working up for the both of us, I guess.
And Chelsi just did things. Like, I remember one time I picked you up from your grandmother's house and she was like, Chelsi is biting people. And I was like, what? Why would she be biting? Where would she get that from? And
you know what? It's crazy. I still like to bite people.
Yeah, but I nipped it. You wasn't biting like that because like you, at this time, used to bite because people didn't do what you wanted them to do. So we nipped that.
Yeah.
Y'all want to know how I nipped it? DM me. Nah, but we just, I'm from the spank committee, so you only got to spank once, and one day you were trying to bite me, and I pulled back, and I, hit you on your hand, and I was like, no. Kids understand no. I don't know why people think they don't understand no. Well, Chelsi.
Yeah, no.
Chelsi understood that no meant she didn't get what she wanted.
It's like if you could watch the words come out of someone's mouth as no, and just watch it come towards me, that no is going to transfer into do it anyway.
Not
and
now.
It's going to go into my ear.
Not now.
No, not now.
But back then,
maybe not so much now, but
yeah, because nobody really tell you no now because you grown.
Now I run myself.
I mean, at work they probably saying no, we shouldn't do it that way.
I mean, I'm the one because of my position. I'm the one telling people no.
Right. Yeah, so you put yourself in a position where you don't have to hear it.
Yeah,
but when you're at work, you can really do that, even if you're not the manager or the person, because you just do your work, do what's required of you. Then you don't get the no, right?
Right.
That's what I do. So anyway, this was a good show.
Yeah,
I
think so.
It turned into a really good. I like how we back and forth. That was a new concept for us. So, all right, company. Well, we appreciate you listening. We want you to follow us on our social medias. Subscribe. Nobody's subscribing to our YouTube. We are. You know what? Let me say this on air. I think that we are going to be the biggest testimony. I think that the way that our success story and how this podcast grows is going to be a crazy testimony where we didn't go viral. We didn't have 5 million followers, but we just had that one opportunity come our way. I really feel like that's going to be the way that we grow. And that's okay.
Yeah.
This is my passion project. I love doing this. I would do it for free.
Well, we do.
We are.
Right, we do.
Listen, I would do it for free. You don't know I'm a celebrity. So let me tell this celebrity story real quick, because I told my doctor I was going to mention him. So recently, you guys don't know this because we never missed the episode, and you guys probably like, dang. But I had back surgery, a pretty big back surgery. Laid me on my back for weeks.
Staples and stitches all down the back.
It's crazy. I'm still like healing from it. It's ridiculous. But I had surgery. And so the hospital that I had the surgery at, I didn't know that they had rooms that were semi-private.
Oh, yes, this story.
Yeah, this story. So they had rooms that were semi-private. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even think Vegas had that because I've been in a couple of hospitals around town and they were all private. So the day of the surgery comes and I was like, the surgeon come in. He's such a good guy. Him and Neil, I think, are video game best friends, but whatever. But anyway, doctor comes in. I call him Dr. E. Dr. E comes in and he's talking to me and stuff. And I was like, oh, by the way, I need you guys to work on me in my private room because I'm a celebrity. And so he looked at me and he was like, what are you talking about? Like he thought I was just blowing smoke. And I said, I am not playing with you. I am a celebrity. I have a podcast. It's called Turra&Co. Look at it. He wrote it down and he was like, I'm going to look it up. I said, dude, because it's a real deal. It's the real deal. I said, so I'm a celebrity. I cannot be in a semi-private room. So they do whatever. And I was in a private room. And then when the nurses would come in, they would do something. And I'd be like, you guys are making me wait too long. I need you to know that I'm a celebrity. And they were like, what? So I told them about the podcast and they would look me up. They were like, are you going to say my name on the podcast? I was like, yeah, if you treat me right. So to all my nurses that took care of me at Mountain View Hospital in the spine unit, thank you. I appreciate you so much. They did a good job. So anyway, we never missed a beat. I love that. You guys need to follow us on YouTube because we don't have but like probably 3 subscribers and that's kind of crazy. At least can we get 30? Can 27 people need to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel? And then I won't ask. Well, I might ask again anyway. Well, anyway, company, thank you for listening. We appreciate your listenership and we will see you on the next episode.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We look forward to you joining us on the next episode. Until then, be inspired and enlightened.